Oh yeah, it's Dominic D'Angelo. It's Saturday night. I almost forgot what day it was, and it's one of a kind with RVD, guys. I mean, you're not gonna believe it. I have somebody really special here today. It's RVD. Rob, man, happy Saturday to you, brother.
Happy Saturday to you, Dominator. Thanks for making me feel special.
You're welcome.
Uh, Thanks for all the Van Damme fan that's watching us live because they're not doing anything more exciting on a Saturday night, or at least at this time. But what could be more exciting? Am I right?
Right? Where else would you guys rather be? In front of hanging out with RVD?
Well, this is the pregame. It might be for me. If I'm not too tired, I am going to go down to the nerd bar because got some stuff I need to talk to Johnny about.
Ooh.
But there's a good chance I'll be too tired because usually by 10 o'clock at night, I'm usually snoozing or heading that way.
I know. I get to that.
Crazy?
Yeah, I get to that point too. But yeah, guys, Nerd Bar's awesome. Like I said, I think last week, if you're in Vegas, go check it out. It's super cool. They do so much different stuff there. Johnny's got a cool spot. It's a really neat joint. So be sure to check it out if you're in Vegas. But we are live. So if you guys have
by the way, I slept for 12 hours last night, dude.
Holy shit! Did you go out last night?
No. I was in bed for half hour or so on Instagram and reading my Kindle, and I even counted that, out of it. But when I woke, that's the thing. This is 99% of my life now. Is when I wake up, I have no idea what time it is. And I'm scared to look because as soon as I look, then my brain's going to start activating. And so I put it off. And then finally, when I feel like, getting hungry or whatever, then I'll look at it. But I try to guess, like 9:15. I look like, holy shit, it's 12:25. Whoa. But I slept 14 hours a couple of days ago. It's not it's not unlike me. I've always been a really good sleeper. Katie is too. We love sleeping. But I think a lot of it also is I take quite a bit of caffeine while I'm awake, and that will add up. Caffeine, and there's a pill that's like made for like a diet pill, like kind of, but it's made for that, but it also makes you alert and focused and gives you energy. It's a lot like Adderall, but it's called Adipex, and it's like a little different, but it's still in that methamphetamine category. And so anyway, sometimes I'll take or fairly often when we have them, I'll take like one of those a day, and it helps me be productive and stuff. But after 4 or 5 days of taking them, I feel like if I don't take them on a day, then I feel like so low on energy, But also, there's that, and I do it all. That 1,000 cups of coffee, pre-workout, fucking cayenne pepper, you name it.
Cayenne pepper, huh?
Vitamin B12. Yeah, I mean that is one of my.
Do you mix it with something? Do you put the cayenne in like a smoothie or some shit? Or what do you do?
Here's to do with cayenne pepper. And thank you to Mass Supplements. Whoa. Should I, Eddie?
No, you're good, I think. I didn't see that.
Look that up.
I'll blur it out. Post-production.
Don't mail stuff to my address to son. You'll never get it back. Spread the word. So anyway, I got a package from Mass Supplements, who is in Atlanta, Georgia. Muscle and Sports Science. Mass! And the guy, John Drake, longtime friend, decades, and has always been sending me stuff as long as I can remember. I don't even know when and where I hooked up with the guy originally, but he sends me supplements, and I want to thank him. One of them is an energy supplement called Burn It Up, which you can see right here. And this is where I get the cayenne pepper.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. It's a thermogenic, and they all do the same thing. Boost energy, beat fatigue, focus, all that stuff. But anyway, Burn It Up and creatinine. Brianna Bonin. Well, anyway, some of the stuff, and they have, if you look them up, dude, he probably has a picture of me on his website on Mass Supplements, but super guy, and I've been taking his products seriously since probably at least like 91, 92, if not before.
Damn. Okay, so you know him for a while.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's one called Adaptogen, which is a combination. It's a nighttime thing, so it has melatonin in it and has tribulus terrestrius in it, which is a amino acid that also helps you recover and sleep. And it encourages your body to do its own thing that it does when you're sleeping, which is release growth hormone and put all your blood sugar in the right places and stuff. By the way, lifetime sponsor with Whack It Grinder. These guys, Whack It. Lifetime sponsor. It's a grinder, and if you're going, then you might want to catch up. I'm not saying that it's necessarily going to be better for you, but I love it. Everyone that sees it loves it. Put it down, and it grinds, and you charge it. I mean, I use it quite a bit, and I charge it less than once every 4 or 5 months. So,
damn.
Yeah. Boom. Right.
Man.
There you go. A couple of the sponsors out of the way. Actually, these guys sent me, and I got to ask Katie exactly which company, because I think that Tunderglass. I think the actual company, but we saw them at the at Champs, and man, they hooked us up with a huge package, and they have this on display, and you put it on the side of your these like new age gravity bungs, which we've had one of those for a long time, but you put it on it and you set the temperature on it and shit, and it tells you like when it reaches the temperature, and for some reason it made the consummation of the smoke so smooth, because I told them like, sure, yeah, I'll do a dab. I'm sure I'm gonna cough because I'm not that dab conditioned, but and it was like real big one, blew a cloud out, and I was like, I'm not even trying to cough. Why was that so smooth? It was weird. They hooked me and Katie up big time, and they did get a video of us using it, and I don't know, maybe it's on YouTube or whatever, but in addition to that, we wanted to thank them, and I'm not exactly sure who to thank yet until I get a little help from the boss lady.
The big old boss lady. Well, we got to thank Mando too. They've been a great sponsor for the past month and so. Go to shopmando.com and you can get in code RVD, and you can get $5 off your starter pack, which equates to 40% off. I got the Mount Fuji. I used it today. Man, I needed to use it today. It was really humid out, so use that. They got the bar of soap, which is great. What is it also? Oh, the wipes, the dude wipes, which are great. And some body wash stuff too. So check it out. Shopmando.com. Use promo code RVD and help out the podcast, and smell good too. Don't smell like a bad wrestling fan. So we got more sponsors. We'll plug those later on though. Let's see what else. We got some. Rob, I guess we should probably kick off talking about somebody we've been talking about kind of recently on the podcast.
We already talked about them.
Did we?
You said we did.
We did already talk about them. But,
hey, by the way, do you watch Mandalorian?
No, I want to start though. Have you been watching it?
Well, I mean, I have no idea if they've done new stuff since I've seen it, but I watched it like a long. I think I've seen it all. I don't know, but I get it confused with the Boba Fett, where he goes back to Tatooine and is taken over from Jabba the Hutt's rule, and it's like. But anyway, question behind the question: isn't that dude's name? I think Mando is what they call the guy, which would be short for Mandalorian, right? But every time you say that about the Mando cologne or Mando body wash, body wash. I think of Mando, the Mandalorian.
Maybe I'll have to Photoshop something for them. Put it on socials. I need to see it. I really want to see it because I love it that the comedian Bill Burr's in it, He's like one of the characters apparently. So
Sasha Banks is in it, and I didn't
Sasha
know
Banks is
until
in it.
after I saw it. Like I totally didn't recognize her.
Yeah, yeah. She doesn't she look it's Stasha, you can tell it's Mercedes Monet, but yeah, if you're not keeping your eye out for it, you probably wouldn't like notice it was actually her though. But yeah. Uh but yeah, Rob, passing a Sid happened.
Yeah.
Like unexpected, very much so. Had stage 4 cancer, his son said, and that it I think it was stemmed from a Roundup weed killer apparently. Like must have been overdue effects to it. Yeah, or overdue when you're around it too much or something. That's what he cited as. And yeah, just wanted to get your thoughts on Sid. We've talked about him like I said before on here, but yeah, obviously, and you said you would had a great match with him, something you wanted to do, and then you talked about how generous he was when he was when he had you guys in a handicap match early in the early days as Matt Byrne. So
Yep. Yeah, that's true, man. And when he came into ECW, I was new. I think I was 96, and so I was just stoked that he was there. Because I thought he's always been one of my favorite monster heels. He's just so intense, big, fucking 7-foot Frankenstein looking motherfucker. Like boom. I just always thought that, and so I've always been a fan. It doesn't sound like you know much about the weed killer, so just that's worth talking a little bit about for a quick second. Now, I don't know if Sid's condition was specific. Probably, maybe. I still doubt that it's out of the bounds of what I'm talking about, because that's really not the way the universe works. But DDP told me years ago about how there's this company, Los Santos. I might be one letter off. Los Santos. It might not start with an M, though. I know people in the chat room are going to know what I'm talking about. It's not Dos Santos. That would be a wrestler.
Monsanto.
Oh, there's an N in there. Thank you. So anyway, DDP was the first one to tell me about this. He was like, bro, and he was trying to tell me to eat organic. And the reason he was saying that you got to eat organic is because everything else is genetically modified. And it started with this group, Monsanto's, according to my understanding and what DDP shared with me and what I later went on and studied. This company, they made a bug deterrent, like bug spray, using genetically modified potions. And you're gonna think it does sound crazy, but you're gonna have to look it up, and then I won't be the source. But they combine shit like the genes of a spider with the genes of a cow. Whoa. Put them together and shit. And they did this with other combinations that I don't remember, but I'm going to tell you where you can go see it. And anyway, this company that made this fucking bug spray, what it would do is it would make stomachs explode. And that's what they used it for, so the bugs wouldn't fuck with the corn in the cornfields, because if the bugs ate it, then their stomachs would explode. But guess what? When people eat the corn, their stomachs explode. And so this company was so big, and apparently corn and whey is the basis for fucking almost all foods, way more than I ever thought of. And they even fucking, like, they had this shit patented. And when the wind blew their pollen over to these other fields, they then got evidence that the other fields were using their genetically modified bug killer. So they sued and monopolized because their shit blew into other fields. And then anyway, the genetic manipulation that they've used is so fucking, and I mean, a lot of people think that's playing God. Okay, this documentary I'm going to tell you about that DDP turned me on to explains all of this, and it timelines it with all these diseases that happen and spiked at the same time that Monsanto's started going big, and in fact, got the patent or whatever, and then boom, all of a sudden, stomach cancers and people, just sick people. The movie's called Genetic Roulette.
Mm.
Roulette. I always say
Genetic
that
roulette.
word wrong. It's roulette, right?
Yeah, it's roulette.
I always say it like I'm French. I don't know why.
Roulette.
I
Oh,
got made fun of my whole life, and I still can't remember the right way to say
Robbie
it.
Roulette.
Hey, Barbie, quit that. Anyway, it's called Genetic Roulette. I highly recommend it. You can watch it on YouTube, I'm pretty sure. Pretty damn sure. And anyway, great movie, and it'll open your mind, and you'll see what I'm talking about. A spider and a cow and some crazy shit. Like, let's take the genes of a goat and put it with a hawk. Or I don't know exactly what it was, but then that's when they say genetically modified food, and now they say no GMOs. They're saying we don't have that shit in our food, unlike the other 90% of the country or whatever that has been exposed to it. So it was a really, really big problem. It still is, because now it's spread everywhere, and it probably fucking got Sid sick.
Yeah. Somebody in the chat, and I think I heard this before too, Italian, he said Sid sold farm chemicals. So
So yeah, I figured it'd be a lot more specific, if he was gonna name that. Still
yeah.
watch the movie though, Genetic Roulette.
Genetic roulette, guys. Check it out. Check it out. I'll have to check it out too. I need
I
to
love
watch more doc.
documentaries. This is a really good one.
Yeah.
Even if you're only gonna watch 15 minutes of it, fucking check it out.
Check it out for sure. Rob, so Sid actually worked in ECW in 1999. He made his debut at ECW, guilty as charged. I had this stuff typed out here. Jeff Jones found John Kronos to be guilty as charged for hitting him with a 450 splash a week before Sid's debut. Kronos was sentenced to face the executioner, who was described as a little bit psycho, and he's going to deal out my brand of justice in a vicious manner. And Kronos was one of ECW's top tag teams with the Eliminators, and he was helpless in the ring with Sid. So Sid dominated him, chokeslammed him, and hit him with 3 chair shots, and Sid was super over. This took place in Kissimmee, Florida, and they said the crowd loved Sid. And then Living Dangerously, Sid showed up to attack the Dudley Boys, beat up Spike Dudley real bad. So he was a really big impact. He only had a short stint because right after that he went to WCW, but Sid said he had a lot of fun working in ECW. I saw in an interview, and that Paul Heyman kind of knew how to handle him. He mentioned too how great he was at handling him, like being this unexpected big man monster heel. He basically said so. Pretty neat stuff. It blew my mind. I kind of forgot Sid was in ECW for a little bit.
Yeah, and I know we really liked him. Me and Sabu, anyway. I think everybody did, but I just. I remember he got a lot of respect from us. We were glad to have him there, and it's like one of those moments where it made our company feel, bigger and more legitimized, and add a little more credibility to it. Yeah. Which, by the way, is what one of the AEW wrestlers told me last time, or the last couple of times that I'm there, that's what I do for them. Him speaking for everybody, but anyway, little circle of life there.
How about that?
Not that I'm, the main event wrestling against Hulk Hogan like Sid was, but different times, brother, different times.
Dude, well, like we talked about a little bit yet last week when you were saying like, oh, I feel somewhat a culprit of how like wrestling is styled today, or how some of the younger talent don't really focus too much on certain aspects of the game, but still, like, to that comparison, being in AEW, I think does elevate the product and make it feel like a bigger deal, because like you're an established Hall of Famer and going up against somebody like Jack Perry and helping him out, and then working with Swerve, who's now their biggest star arguably. It's kind of good news. So that's good stuff, Rob. So what else was I going to say about Sid? There was something else I was going to mention about him that I thought was pertinent. This is what I was going to say. Sid, he always got ragged about, like, hey, he's like softball, and he would go and like leave and kind of have that kind of, thing about him. Like, okay, he could have been a bigger star. Look at Barbie. Look at old Barbie. Oh my gosh.
Barbie D. Barbie D.
Barbie D. Lovey D too.
What's that like too? Come here.
Hello, Lovey.
Come here.
Say hi to Lovey. Oh, look at that. Lovey's a
I
nice
love
one.
these doggies.
She's a sweetheart. Lovey is so nice. I want to meet Barbie someday
They
too.
wrestle all day.
Do you think good? Good.
It's weird how good dogs know how to wrestle, and learn everything, really. I mean, we got to be taught how to fucking walk and hold a glass of water, and these dogs just running, sprinting, Like Barbie will go into stalker mode, where she tries to freeze, like Barbie doesn't see her, and then go real slow, and then boom, jump on her. It's like, who taught her that? Like, that is 7 months old or whatever. That's amazing, the instinct that they come with.
Isn't it? And it's like they know their limits too. Like if they're hurting them one another too bad or something like that, they can usually pull back.
Yeah, make it. It's fun to a certain point, huh, Barbar?
Yeah.
Then they, even wrestling, like the reversals, the way they get each other down, and like roll the arm for leverage, and put her foot on the other one's stomach when she's down on her back. Everything I watch them do, I'm just like amazed at how they come preloaded like that.
Preloaded, ready to order. But like then I think about Sid, if he was in modern wrestling today, he probably would have really flourished a little bit more, because it seems like with the lighter schedules and a little bit more leniency for wrestlers and talent to get time off. And I just think it's kind of fascinating to think about. Sid was in a different, and his priorities were different. That's what it was. Is like he was not that. He liked wrestling, but it wasn't like his main thought about things. Like his priorities were different, and it would kind of be interesting to see him in the modern day aspect.
Yeah, I wonder, is there a place for, say, 80s, 90s style of wrestling? Is there still a place for that, or does everybody have to do a fucking Spanish fly into the fucking Canadian destroyer 4 times? I mean, seriously, it looks like the style, when you say today's style, that's what I think of. Mm-hmm. And I wonder, we don't have a lot of different wrestling organizations on TV that we're exposed to, but there's a lot of other ones out there that we're not exposed to. I just wonder, I guess, I don't know. I mean, even on the indie scene, the TV has to take over the style. So, I'm just thinking, I don't know, like, how could someone like Sid not have a great spot, but at the same time, what's the dude in AEW? The dinosaur dude. He was with Jungle Boy.
Luchasaurus.
Lizardsaurus. Yeah.
Yeah, Luchasaurus.
I mean, that guy wants to do backflips and moonsaults and hurricanranas, and it seems like to me anyway when I watch him that he wants to show that he can wrestle like a smaller guy, which is just one way of putting it. He's probably not trying to say, "Hey, look, I wrestle like a small guy." He's trying to say, "Hey, I'm a big guy, and I can still do all these moves and agile." But the way that it comes across is, more like representative of today's standards. That's the kind of stuff that makes it so that is a majority of what we're seeing, right?
Right. No, I mean, especially like in certain promotions, there's more of a tendency for bigger wrestlers and guys to do that. But, I kind of look at, like, if you're looking at the top of the cards, for example, like in WWE at the moment, there's, like, big dude like Damian Priest is in there, and he's athletic and he does stuff. But I think Fid would still fit in that mold of getting over and being that, just a presence and everything like that. I think the hierarchy and everybody that's there would pretty much know how to handle him, I think, in certain ways, and kind of. And especially with Paul Heyman back there, But
I would love something like that to bring it all back a little bit, personally. Yeah. Mm-hmm. To back up a little bit, because here's an example, like Big Van Vader, he would do a moonsault. It was an ugly moonsault, and when he did it, it was like whoa, and like thank God his knee wasn't 6 inches over the other direction, or that guy would have smashed face. Now, if Vader took a clothesline bump and did like a 360 bump like Matt Byrne did with Sid Vicious, then that moonsault wouldn't be as impressive, you know?
Right.
You
Yeah.
just got clotheslined and got your fucking head knocked off so bad your feet came over it, and you're fucking 400 and some pounds. You know, who cares if you can do a moonsault then?
No, it's true. It is. Um, yeah, no, I think Sid still would have flourished. I think, and I don't know. Maybe I have like a more of that older mindset too when it comes to not being as hey, I want to see all this athleticism go down and these high flying stuff, and I'm more still about the story and what the psychology is in the ring and all that stuff. Ooh, look at that! Look at that!
Malcolm, if you got him,
Smoke them if you got them, guys. I know a lot of people are chatting about that here too,
about time.
getting it done. So, but yeah, I think Sid would have fit. He would have made it. I think he would have been okay in this landscape, and it might have been.
Yeah,
A
dude,
little
you
bit
said
easier.
that 15 times. You say it again. I'm coming through after you.
Oh shit!
No, hopefully with him. I like Sid. R.I.P. Good dude.
Yep, great dude, great dude.
Good dude as far as I know.
Heck yeah, heck yeah. Let's take a couple of the super chats here. We got a few in the house. We'll start with Unsweet Tej, who donated $5. Thanks, Unsweet Tej. He says, "Hey Rob, been a big fan for a long time. How do you deal with people on a lower vibration, especially bosses? I know I can do better than. RVD 420 for life," he says. So how do you deal with people that have like a lower vibration or kind of aren't vibing as much with you?
Well, first off, if I can, I try to bring their vibration up.
Okay.
An example of that, you could just be passing through a doorway, coming into a store, and you see somebody looks like they're like really doing shitty. They're looking down or whatever. You just get that vibe from them, that you know what? Give them a smile. You start with just that. You'd be amazed at how far that goes. For me, and criticize this, judge me, but I'm just being honest. If it's a really attractive girl and she just smiles, like I don't have to think like, oh my God, she's flirting with me. Like some dudes, oh my God, should I get her number? Was she trying to? But honestly, just a smile, like wow, she looks really nice. Damn, she has a really nice energy too. She bothered to smile, and it lights up the whole fucking room. People like that have a power, and really we all do to some extent. But if you can pick someone's vibration up, then the result of that is it then picks your vibration up. You actually, by helping someone and bringing them up, actually bring yourself up. And this is one of the steps and one of the insights in the Celestine prophecy, by the way, is doing exactly this. And compliments, people love compliments, and even if you say something that could just be taken as a compliment, even if you're not that deep about it, you know what I mean? Someone's talking to you, instead of saying "fuck off," if you just say "oh, right on," then to them, like sometimes, yeah, that was a good conversation, And when I do signings, that's a big part of what I have to do, which I enjoy doing. I'm good at it, and I like it. Is making people feel comfortable. Like there'll be a line. Sometimes people have been waiting, seems like an hour to get up to see me. And then sometimes they'll come up and they'll just put their arm around me because they saw everybody else do it. And they're nervous. I feel them shaking a little bit and they're looking. And I'm like, you got your phone on you, dude? Because they forgot to hand their phone to someone to take their picture. And at that point, they can be so embarrassed. So I go the opposite, I'm not going to be like, duh, I was wondering what you're doing up here. We don't even have a camera. Like, that's the last thing I'm going to do. I'm going to be like, dude, you got your phone? And they go, oh, my God. I'm saying, no, it happens, bro. It happens all the time. Like, I try to make them feel comfortable. I want them to have a good moment. And, yes, I do have my professional switch turned on, and that is part of it. And sometimes I don't have the energy or don't put the energy out there, but it still would be a good thing to do. But sometimes when I am not turned on and I'm turned off, sometimes I spend the whole day looking at the ground, not wanting to talk to people or draw anybody's attention. And that's just part of the balance for me, which we'll get to. But That's the number one thing is if you can pick them up, and if you can't because they insist on that low vibration, that's where they're comfortable and that's what they want to put out, avoid them.
That's it. That's it. But yeah, to what you're saying, when you're in line, I've seen you at conventions and stuff like that. You make the fans immediately feel kind of comfortable more around you. Like you're like, hey, you kind of get them interacting with them, like do the thumbs and all that stuff like that. You're kind of getting them in there and everything, and I think that's super cool. Yeah. So
Yep, nothing but positive energy for me, for them, the whole thing. And
yeah.
I said I don't get paid at the end of the day.
Then that's another issue. um, what was I? Oh yeah, that's usually the best compliment I get a lot of times. This is like somebody tells me, "Hey, you got good energy," and I'm like, "Hey, thanks. All right, I'll take that."
Yeah.
So yeah, it's always good stuff. Frankie Terizo, thank you for the $5. He says, "Did you ask for a proper match with Jerry Lynn in WWE? Also, what were your electives in high school? You have been my favorite wrestler since 1996. Wow, cool stuff. Yeah, I know you had a match with Jerry, but did you ask for one in WWE?
In did you say in WWE or just in general?
In WWE.
In WWE, did I ask for a match with Jerry Lynn? Yes, I did, and they weren't too happy about it. And I was like, Paul, help me. We'll show them what we can do, and then they'll book Jerry more. Because we're gonna fucking show them the match that we thought that everybody loved, and we did a match. Didn't have a lot of time, but we did a lot of our stuff. In WWE, the timing never felt the exact same for me because it became everything. Like before WWE, I was never put on a time limit, and so I didn't even know how to judge time when I got to WWE.
Oh.
Had no fucking idea. And then all of a sudden it's the number one thing. And when you're out there, you need to know, if you have 90 seconds or if you have, fucking 4 minutes or if you have 17 seconds. And you need to know that while you're out there so you can get in what you want to get in and not be stuck, with your dick in your hand and getting in trouble because the other matches are going to be shorter because you're live, which I've been on the receiving end of that a lot. And they plan for it like that in the order that they put the matches in. But I had a match with Jerry Lynn. I think it was on Sunday Night Heat. Don't know how many people saw it. I felt like it was pretty much up to par with our normal matches, but it wasn't in front of an ECW crowd. We couldn't do hardcore stuff and, couldn't really, because we couldn't take it to that level, we couldn't really take our time and soak in the moment that we would to react to those moves that weren't there. But nothing, I think, came from it. I don't think Vince liked him.
That's a bummer, too, because I remember when Jerry went into WWE, I was like, oh, this is exciting, and I kind of liked his presence in there. And, he kind of helped establish, their light heavyweight division that they had him in initially. But, yeah, I always wanted to see more with Jerry in WWE, I think. What were your electives in high school? Did you take certain ones you remember?
So what exactly is an elective? Because I thought an elective was like something that you volunteer to take, you don't have to, or something.
Yeah, I'm almost thinking maybe art class, something in addition like that you can kind of add, because I think back I'm trying to think of my high school too, is I think I took a computer class because or website design. I think that's one of the courses I took.
So you got so in other words, you're saying maybe you got your mandatory classes, your English, your math, whatever, and then you fill up your day by a balance between those and other classes that you get to pick that you choose from.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
You elect to take them?
You elect to take them, and they're part of your thing, and they count towards you.
Okay.
Good grades, I suppose.
I don't remember ever using or knowing that term when I was in school, but nevertheless, the answer to that then must be Spanish. Me and Dango liked speaking Spanish so much. It was like Carney for us because no other kids could speak as fluently as us, and we got really good speak with the teacher, went back for Spanish 2, back for Spanish 3. I went back for Spanish 4, Dango went somewhere else. But then I ended up taking senior work day, and I think that ended up getting dropped out of my schedule. But nevertheless, we enjoyed having like our own language, which came in handy as I started traveling and would be in Tokyo, Japan at a strip club trying to talk to a senorita, and I didn't speak any Japanese. But you speak Spanish too? Hey, what do you mean you're a slave girl? I don't know about that yet in life. I'll find out about that years later. Looking back at it, we could have that conversation because that's the way I remember it. Like this one, trying to get a girl to leave with me, and she's like, "Well, I have to stay with the gang and all that." And she's like, "This guy very scary. He puts us all in a van and drives away. I have to." And I was like, "No, fuck that guy. Where's he at?" And then I remember, like they were so scared and stuff. But anyway, now it's like, oh, okay, I get it. Human slavery. I really didn't know about that back then. But anyway, the Chica wasn't necessarily in that group, but she was. One of them was. That's why that jolted that memory in Tokyo, in Roppongi at. I can't remember the name of the club. It was a club where they have like American and blonde girls, which was like very rare to see over there. Sometimes for weeks and weeks, red hair, blonde hair, roughed up jeans, anything at that time was so not uniform, and they were so conformed that it was a break. What the hell was that called? Why do I think it began to know? I don't know, and I don't care. Anyway, so also was. Besides Spanish was also for me health and fitness. That was another, I guess, elective that I, because it was after the gym class credits or whatever. It was something in addition to that to learn more about the body and nutrition and drugs, all that stuff.
When it comes to taking Spanish classes, now
See.
Yes. See. What my older brother used to be fluent in it, and then he said he stopped using it too much. And do you lose it if you don't use it, Rob? Is it or can you get back into it pretty quickly when it comes to Spanish? Do you remember most of it? Basically, is what I'm asking.
Well, we're all different.
That's true.
We're all different, and it really depends on. We remember things by how impactful they were on our overall big picture that we have at that time, So for me, I haven't spoke Carney in years because y si quiero hablar en español es también cosa. I don't know if that's también cosa. It's also same thing. Lo mismo, okay? But with Spanish, like I learned there's different dialects and like even though me and Dango could understand each other and we could understand our teacher, still there's sometimes like when they speak a different dialect, especially like really fast, where it's like, okay, I can only say what I want to say. I can't understand you. It's gonna be a one-sided conversation. Sometimes that happens, but no, for me, I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, for the most part, I think it just was something that I enjoyed enough to remember.
Yeah, that's a great point too, man.
Am I ever going to forget that Spidey came back to the Marvel Universe in issue 252 with the black outfit from the Secret Wars? I don't need to know that, but I think, it was kind of impactful for me. So
that's it, man. Great point. And I want to read some comics now.
Just like the great gods and goddesses,
Yeah. I saw there's a new video game out with all mythology stuff. It's like a strategy game or something. I saw it on my Xbox, and I was like, oh, that looks kind of interesting. I don't know what it's about, but if you guys like mythology, check it out maybe. Hey, we just $10 from Jim D. Thanks, Jim D. Appreciate it. No question. If you have a question, Jim, feel free to just pop it in there, and I'll keep my eyes peeled for your name. You don't have to pay again if you don't want to.
We appreciate you, Jimmy D.
Yeah. Garrett with $5. Rob, how often do you get recognized in public? Do people come up to you often or just stare at you? Do you ever try and conceal your identity?
So the answer is very often, everywhere, all the time. I get recognized. Such to the point to where if nobody seems to recognize me, I don't assume that they don't know who I am. I just think that they made that choice to not say anything, which is a lot of people. And I've had so many people tell me too, like, "Oh, man, I sat next to you on a plane a couple times, but I didn't want to say anything." And I've had that happen like so often. And people say, "I waited on your table, but I didn't want to bother you," and this and that. One, it's really like never a bother. Although with my evil ex, she was insecure and she would feel like you're interrupting her private time. but but I always appreciate it. It's always just love, and quite often they do say something. I take pictures with people like every day when I leave my house. It's something I just expect. That's why I can't just go out with my hair down and feeling like. I can't go out looking like a bad picture. Let me just put it that way, because it's going to be that look is going to be immortalized probably several times, depending on where I go. But that's one of the reasons that I'm known for being so cool, because I'm always like, "Sure, man, let's." I act like I get it all the time, because I do get it all the time. I have gone incognito before, and it's been a long time though. But I used to do that at the Comic Con in San Diego, because I literally wouldn't have time to make it through and be able to see what I wanted to see. The first several years I went to San Diego Comic Con, I would come back with big bags full of stuff. And I guess each year there was less stuff to where eventually it was like, I might have a couple comics and that's it. Or maybe a Ghost Rider statue. But my want list got smaller. And then but at first I wanted to go up and down every aisle, and I didn't have time if I was taking pictures and stuff like that. So one time I wore a Ghost Rider mask. It was a rubber mask, and I had sunglasses on, and I put my ponytail up, and I had a straw hat, and I was at this one booth looking at his comics, and I'll be damned if the motherfucker didn't know it was me.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
You had a rubber mask on and he still recognized you.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know this guy's still around because I ran into him somewhere in the last couple of years, and he reminded me. I was like, "Of course I remember you, motherfucker." Like, plus, and no one else recognized me. I guess because of my body, whatever. But, it's not something that I do very often. It's not usually a problem. Usually it's a plus. People give me a lot of love. People want to, a lot of times, buy me a drink or whatever, tell me a story about how they saw me or they grew up on me or whatever. So it is part of being me. I don't look a lot different than I did when they grew up, and now they're growing up. Now they're grown up. They got their own kids, and kind of still walk around with the same look, so it's to be expected. I think from that perspective, it's not like I ever changed my look, and I appreciate it though. I think it's pretty cool, and it's something that I think is conducive with anybody that is in the entertainment business that cares to grow a following. It's part of it, and maybe pretty soon there will be stopping in RVD's Tavern next year in Las Vegas and having a cerveza.
Ooh, a little cerveza. Yeah, it's funny. Like when we walk into the nerd bar after the Cauliflower Alley stuff, I remember us going down Fremont, and like maybe you got stopped 2 or 3 times, I think it was, by fans being like, hey, and you just went and got a picture with them real quick, and you made their day. You could tell. It was just like,
yeah.
Oh, it's RVD. Yeah. There he is. So
and like most people, unless they're really big fans, they won't say anything, and I wouldn't either. Like if there was an actor, I guess walking by in Fremont Street, I'd just be like, oh, hey, I know that dude. He's in that one movie, or if it's even less vague, if I know him, but I'm not sure where from. But I usually wouldn't go up to somebody unless I'm a especially big fan of theirs or something. But I mean, I wouldn't let most people just go about their day, and I think more people do that probably than even stop me.
Stop you. I think a lot of people are just like, oh, that's RVD or whatever, So, good question.
A lot of people will just do that. RVD.
Yeah,
like,
just shout you
act
out.
like they see me every day anyway. So.
Yeah, yo, RVD. Here's another good question. Unsweet Teej with another $5. Thanks, man. He says, Rob, how do you deal with burying past relationships? I saw you dealt with a divorce, but you seem happier than ever now. I'm sneaking up on 30 years old. Oh, you're pretty young still, Tej. But, Rob, how do you deal with past relationships? Burying past relationships?
Well, it's obviously every situation is going to be different. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people lose relationships, and then they go on thinking that was the best relationship of their life, and then things don't get better for them. And the way the mind works, it can kind of trick a lot of us into thinking that at least short term anyway. There's some grievance, just like when you lose anything, something important in your life that you love is gone. And so, you got to take however long it takes to deal with that. But you also got to have faith. You have to have faith. You have to understand that there's bigger plans for you. There's a reason this happened. And if you can see the reason and you still can't get over it, and that even if you got back together, it would be horrible, especially with what's gone on, since you broke up and stuff, and you still can't pull your head out of your ass, then you're just stuck in a depressive cycle where you feel entitled to be down, and you're the only one that can get yourself out of that. Every relationship has its boundaries. Every relationship, if you think about it, has its boundaries, and whether they're understood or explicitly actually fucking typed out in a handbook somewhere or whatever, or the restraining order. If it's like, hey, we handshake, that's it, man. We don't hug. This guy, what's he doing, man? Hey, we never do that. You're crossing boundaries. Every relationship has it. And then in the past, sometimes the boundary is don't ever want to see or hear from you ever again. That's a boundary. And if it's hey, we got kids, we still got to see each other, whatever, then you have to make room to look out for number one. So as long as that's what you're moving towards, you look at the past relationship, learn to appreciate why it is a past relationship. And for me, I'm way happier. I look back and I can't believe that I used to think I was happy, but you know what? I really didn't know happy. That was like the best that I'd had at the time, was somebody actually telling me that they were going to stick with me, for forever. Like, wow, no one's ever told me that. But, really, that's hollow anyway. And it's just words. And it didn't happen anyway. But it gave me a reason to put this person like way above everyone else and say, you know what? I'm going to do my best to treat this person the way I think someone in that position should be treated. So that's more of a reflection of me, really. How I think RVD's wife should be treated. First off, I think that isn't something that just anybody should be able to have. Should be somebody really special. Should be somebody that has, a hero looking out for her best interest. That's the way I've always seen it. Maybe it's my ego. So even when the Evil X really didn't deserve it, I still stuck with that out of respect for me all the way till the end. So, even though she'd broken all kinds of boundaries and was 1,000% positive that she wanted to divorce and go opposite ways and wanted me to be dating other girls and all that. All the way through that, I stuck by what I respected, and I wanted to respect myself afterwards, and I do. If I hadn't, I wouldn't know how to treat Katie. Now I have no doubt. Like, I already know what I can do, and Katie's awesome. But looking at the bigger picture now, I see that I wasn't happy. There was never like trust. We fought all the time. She was always very insecure. I'm gone on the road. The only reason our relationship lasted so long is because we didn't see each other a whole lot, because I was on the road 5, 6 days a week, sometimes more. Anyway, you get it, for a long, long, long time. And when all that finally ended and I was home more, that's when, which is very, very common in my business, that's when things got really rough, being able to live together when we're both adjusted to the other person not being there in different ways and shit. In the end, man, I am so thankful everything happened. I kind of wish I wouldn't have gotten with her in the first place, but if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't be here, like I just said. So look at the meaning of that, and look at, if you can't yet see what's better right now about putting the relationship behind you, then you will. You absolutely will. And I can't tell you when it'll be, but there is a reason. And as long as you believe that, then it could take a very long time. It could take a short time until you can look back at it and say, bam, if that wouldn't have happened, I wouldn't have met this, or I wouldn't have moved out, and I wouldn't have gone for that job, or I wouldn't have, got with her, whatever. Our paths are determined by actions that bump it along the way, So good luck, and that's how we deal with past relationships.
Yeah, great advice. Great advice. Yeah, Tej, I'll say too, it's like if you're in a relationship and then you got out of it, if something special for you for a little bit or for an extended period of time, you're still probably going to feel a void for a while, like when it comes to that, because you're not going to have it there. But yeah, just what Rob's saying, you just got to have faith and believe in a purpose that there's a reason for that happening, and you'll get back on your feet, no doubt. 30 years old, you got plenty of time, brother. You're A-okay. So, Maddie, Mr. Marijuana, our faithful listener. Always said, I gotta give a couple of his jokes he did too. He made some jokes earlier on in the chat, so I gotta shout them out a little bit. But he said, RVD Intercontinental Championship run versus Sammy versus Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed. A bunch of dudes would love to see. RVD held the belt heaps. That belt heaps helps. I don't know what he meant at the end, but yeah, I mean, a lot of cool younger talent that's holding that title, and you would be a cool mix. I associate you greatly too with the Intercontinental Championship. I know, because you're right in the thick of the action there, Rob. So
I guess I had it several times, huh?
yeah, a couple of times.
Maybe. I don't know. I thought I saw 6, but maybe not. I don't know.
I don't know.
YouTube Chris knows.
YouTube Chris will definitely know. Something else that popped up this week I wanted to ask you about was, did you see that you were talking about documentaries, the Vince McMahon documentary got announced? Did you see that? Scheduled for September 25th. And Cody Rhodes was asked about it, actually, today after the pay-per-view. And was asked about, like, what the whoever the person was saying, like, why has the locker room been so silent on this stuff? And are you going to watch the documentary? And he said, well, I have a lot of Game of Thrones I still got to watch. But he's like, he handled it very professionally, Cody did. But then he said, in regards to the locker room and the Vince accusations and stuff, he's like, I don't think it's a matter of belief versus non-belief. I think it's strictly speaking, we want to be doing what we're doing out there and the focus and attention it takes. 13,149 people to have a great story and to have a great match, and to do that every single night has left most of us where we're finding the information out just as you are, and that includes the resolution of this information in terms of what happened, how it happened, and how justice comes about, whatever it may be. I wouldn't look at it as an active attempt from the locker to be silent in the attempt. We just are doing what we do day to day WWE business. So Cody kind of took the helm. Triple H wasn't there today, but he was asked about that. And but yeah, Rob, you gonna check out the documentary, and I think that's just a pretty good way to handle it if you're in Cody's position too. By the way, so just
Yeah,
what are your
yeah,
thoughts on that?
I will. I will check it out. I'm looking forward to it. I watched Lee Cole's podcast, whereas he kind of went into expectations of what he thinks they'll cover and what they won't cover, and looking at it from that view, it's taken some of my intrigue away. Just some of the points that he's made. It's kind of taken me from a "ooh, this is gonna be good" to maybe being more like, yeah, they might, just tell, like this and this, and probably not going to cover that and that, but who knows, maybe. But it's probably, I don't know. He made a lot of good points, and I hope that it's like, most documentaries where you learn a lot that you didn't know, or can at least feel like you do watching it. And I'm looking forward to it. They did contact me a couple times actually about uh, participating in the interviews, and it wasn't something that I opted to do. Wasn't a choice that would be conducive with my position in the business, in the industry. So I passed, and I told them I look forward to seeing it, and I do. And I hope that they cover a lot of different grounds instead of just jumping to the main pillars of whatever story they choose to tell.
Yeah. So from what I've heard about it, they like do talk about like the. So it started off. I think the documentary plan started off in 2020. So like early during COVID or whatever, and then they were just gonna cover Vince McMahon's rise to WWE fame and all that, and running this company, and then the allegations kind of broke out, and then they talk about the journalists that get involved with it. But I know Bill Simmons is at the helm of it, who worked with ESPN, and now he does his own thing with The Ringer. And I know he's friends with Nick Khan as well, who's the WWE CEO. So, but
Who's the guy that did Tiger King? He's part of
yeah,
this too.
Chris Smith is the director's name that he's done that with Tiger King.
And now
So,
that chimp movie, that chimp document, Chimp Crazy.
oh,
Oh, you don't know about that?
no, I don't know about that. Ooh, what's that? Mm, I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, it's on my recommended list.
Okay, Chimp Crazy. I'll have to look at that. But yeah, so it sounds like they will be covering this stuff, but I think a lot of and they got a lot of different interviews. They said from a lot of wrestlers and different people, relatives of Vince, I think, and
Yeah,
so
I guess I think about early scandals where he was involved because he's the boss, and he actually used to do talk shows, right? Like the
right,
Geraldo show and Merv Griffin, whatever he did, um, because he couldn't help but be involved just because he was the face of the company. But I can see where the movie might not show that stuff because it wasn't his scandal or something that he was getting blamed for as far as the misconduct. It was more maybe just covering it up and continuing to operate with people that shouldn't be there, So I could see where some of that stuff would be, but I don't know. I could see where some of that, when you make a movie and you tell a story and you streamline it, and you got to make sure every scene moves your story forward. What story are they going to tell? It's not going to be every last little thing that you ever heard about Vince. That's not going to be the story.
right, right. Yeah, it'll be interesting
Rise
to
and
see
fall, right? The rise and fall.
Rise and Fall. Yeah, I think it's just called Mr. McMahon, and then the tagline was like Mastermind Madman was the two things they had, and If you saw the poster, he's like standing above himself, holding strings like a
Mhm.
marionette. So should be interesting. Yeah, I know that got a lot of the talk this week, and kind of coincides with Raw moving to Netflix too coming up. So it'll be interesting to see how that all pans out. But yeah, I think every wrestling fan will be tuning in. All right, hey, we got another super chat here. Doug Hype TV. Shout out to RVD and the Nerd Bar in Vegas. Love to see you healthy and kicking butt. What is the key to staying in good shape for you, Rob? What is the key?
Hmm. The key to staying in good shape is having a healthy lifestyle.
Mm.
And what's even more important than that is having good genetics. You got to have good genetics, otherwise, you could have diseases, all kinds of shit that you didn't even ask for, but your parents gave it to you. And that can fuck up your plans when you're trying to be healthy and be fit. But otherwise, a healthy lifestyle, that involves um, what you do with your body, what you put into your body. And, you got to make more good choices than bad choices.
Here we go. Yeah, live that healthy lifestyle. Keep things in shape. Maddie, I don't know what he means by this. RVD, Blue Meanie, White Castle, Big Joe Whataburger. I don't know what that means, Maddie. Oh, he says he follows up. Any cool Blue Meanie stories with RVD? You mentioned Blue Meanie last week. I think you didn't have too many. I don't think. If I remember.
Well, yeah, I was asked if I had any meaning stories, and no new meaning stories come up in my mind this time either.
Did you hear the story about the time I think Steel Panther was playing at, oh, what's the place? Whiskey A Go Go in Los Angeles. They were playing there, and Meanie farted, and he made the whole concert stop by his fart because they could smell it. So
Wow, what a great thing to be known by.
right there's a Meanie story for you. Um,
There you
there you go.
go.
Let's see what else we got here. Oh, this is one I thought was just interesting. Triple E asked, RVD and Dom, thoughts on Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom in the Avengers movie? What do you think of that Robert Downey coming back to the Marvel Universe, Rob? Did you see that?
How's he gonna be Doctor Doom when he's Iron Man?
Well, he died as Iron Man, I guess, in the End Game. Spoiler. I think it's weird. I kind of wasn't a fan, to be honest. Unless somehow he's also Tony Stark still. Like,
Well, I mean, that'd be maybe interesting if they changed the whole fucking Marvel universe to make that fit. But
right.
otherwise, I guess, you're behind an iron mask either way. And if you can get me to forget that it's the same voice, because it's the same voice, that's
Right.
that's what's hard, because you're doing both of them with a mask, and that's your whole identity is just your voice when you're in gimmick. So sounds challenging, and I guess if anyone can pull it off, he can. He's a fucking phenomenal actor.
Yeah. Yeah, who is he? Is he Iron Man? Is he Doctor Doom? Or is he Charlie Chaplin? That's what we got to sort out.
I like more Charlie Chaplin.
Yes, yes. Let's see. Anything else I wanted to really cover?
Talkies.
Um, no, like I said, Bash in Berlin took place today. Randy Orton took on Gunther, and Randy Orton, holy smokes, have you seen him? He's like big now. He's like I think he's about 300 pounds, but he's muscled and chiseled out. He looks in pretty good shape. So
Wow.
wanted to make note of that. That he was
Damn.
pretty good. Yeah, right.
What's he doing, Randy?
What's up, man? He had that back fusion stuff, and they didn't think he was going to wrestle. And I think doctors told him that, hey, maybe you shouldn't wrestle. But he's going back and doing it. But he looks great. He still moves great. And so, it's all about genetics and healthy lifestyle.
Ain't that the truth, man? Genetics is king over anything else. Like, we all know some people that look like they're in phenomenal shape, and they don't do anything, but drink beer and eat Doritos. Uh, Especially like skinny people, and they're ripped, and they don't, and it's just their natural metabolism. But that just again goes to show how different we all are. That's why it's so silly for people to think, basic thinkers, to think that everyone's going to react the way that they do to anything. But genetics, even people, I get asked a lot of times what my key is to durability, because I haven't really got injured that much during my whole career, in spite taking some doing some physicality. And I have to think genetics has to be, because if I was fragile, for sure, I would have broken a lot of shit a lot of times, and that's, I mean, I condition as well, just like I said, a healthy lifestyle, but genetics is the one that you don't have much to say about moving backwards. You do forward if you pick just the right mate to repopulate with. But that's where some of us are really gifted more than others in that field.
Yeah, that's the benefit of having good genes and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it determines our height, our overall size, everything.
Yeah, all that comes into play, and then it's a matter of just being conscientious of what you put in your body and all that stuff. So, Maddie follows up with another Marvel question here. Thanks for the $2. If RVD could be in Marvel, what power would you have if you were a Marvel superhero, Rob? Shape shifting, traveling from point.
It would be a travel. I don't know if I'd want to fly or teleport, though.
Yeah, I'd like the Nightcrawler thing where you.
Right, that would be pretty cool. But in my dreams, I fly a lot. Not a lot, but over the years, a lot of times I would fly, and it felt so real, and so I relate more to that than I do teleporting.
Yeah.
Fly like, yeah. I was gonna say fly like who? I don't know, but I guess that wasn't asked. Doesn't have to be someone else's power, right?
No,
a lot of them fly. All superheroes fly.
Yeah.
Who doesn't fly? Who doesn't fly?
Wolverine.
That would be cool, though. Oh yeah, regenerating would be all right too.
That would be a sweet one, yeah, like quick regeneration and stuff. That would.
I don't want to live for hundreds of years, really.
Yeah, fighting the fucking Revolutionary War and stuff.
Too much heartbreak there, over and over and over again.
A lot going on there. Yeah. You want to talk about emotional baggage? Wolverine's got that. Seth chimes in. RVD, do you think you lost opportunities by not going with the flow? Both as a chef and a musician, I was always sort of an outsider by not staying up late, eating junk, and doing drugs or drinking heavily. Do you think you lost opportunities by not going with the flow?
Going with the flow. Trying to think how I would adapt that to something in my life that would keep me from an opportunity.
Would it be in like relation to how like you didn't vibe with the corporate dynamic at WWE and certain expectations of talent and certain things like that? That's kind of going, but you're going with your own flow. It's not going with their flow. So
probably. It sounds like something that probably has some validity to it. When I think about like the WWE, if I didn't care about, if I didn't have my values that I have, and instead I was able to either adapt or go by all of their values, then that me, I do think, would have probably had other opportunities that this me didn't. I hope that answers your question.
I think that's good. Yeah. So, but yeah, at the same point too, it's always like you would just you would do your own thing, and like that wasn't how you would go about things, and it wasn't I don't know, like how you always mention how like you didn't like that political BS dealing with all that kind of crap, and that's kind of what goes in certain things with wrestling too. So, um, yeah,
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of other areas of life to apply that to, but I don't
you
know.
seem pretty adaptable though, for the most
So
part, when it comes to
I'd
yeah,
like to think so.
yeah,
I
right,
think so. I go
yeah.
with a different flow.
Go with a different flow. That's
If I
good.
did go, if I went with a different flow than the flow with that I go, then I would go somewhere else for show.
Faux show. That's like a Dr. Seuss thing. We could,
There you go.
yeah. Oh,
Yep.
okay. So Seth follows up. I was thinking specifically how like Brock Lesnar got special treatment from Vince for engaging in his party. Oh my gosh, for engaging in his party habits with him. Yeah, I don't know if that's going with the flow. That's like, I don't know if that would have had either way with you, Rob. If you were to party down with Vince, if that would have done anything, either way.
That's apples to oranges.
Yeah, yeah.
Vince rightfully saw millions and millions of dollars in Brock. I've always been a big fan of his, but the guy held the position of being like the toughest guy in the world. He legitimately had the UFC heavyweight title and he had the WWE heavyweight championship. And I had him at the same time, right?
Yeah, I think
And dude, that's some shit right there. And knowing he can back up whatever you can think about him, whatever you can picture him destroying, like that's like money, money, money. So no, Vinny didn't invite RVD to those kind of parties.
there you go. Yeah. No, and what you're saying about Brock, it's like you want to talk about somebody that's like, yeah, he adds other levels to it. Like, yeah, he proven that he can get it done in the octagon, like so he can handle himself. And then on top of it, like he's such a good wrestler, pro wrestler, that it's just the best of both worlds. And he's got a look. He's got a great, huge presence. So, yeah, I don't think
Yeah, I mean,
that's
it's really hard to think of who you can compare with him. Like I would like to see him and Bobby Lashley
oh
have
yeah.
an MMA fight. That'd be cool.
Oh, that would be
I'd
sweet.
buy that ticket.
Heck
But
yeah.
he's also though he's kind of I don't know he's like an animal, and there's a few reasons I say that, but if you can relate, then yeah, that guy had nothing but W's ahead of him once he walked in the door.
Absolutely, yeah. He is reminiscent of Sid in certain ways because he wasn't like somebody that was super. He's good, great at the business, but it's like also he didn't like traveling that much. And not that I don't know if Sid didn't like traveling, but it was just like it wasn't top of his priority a lot of the times. If he gets paid, then hey, that's something else. Um, Ryan Butler, thanks for the super sticker you shared, and also the question here. RVD, what did you tell Vince McMahon in WWE's ECW when he told you in the ring, you better think about that? You better think about that. Do you know what he's talking about there, Rob?
Hold on.
In ECW.
Hmm.
Was this part
I
of
only
the?
remember being in the ring with that one time. Probably happened more than once, but I remember. I mean, during this ECW time, I remember when I had the 3-against-1, him, Umaga, and Shano against RVD.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he might have had the title. I don't know, but nonetheless, I'm guessing maybe it was during that match because any other time I could imagine him being in the ring was like on the mic. I feel like the whole alliance was in the ring with him at one time. Um, I don't know, maybe during draft picks too or something, but I don't know. No, of course I don't remember. You better think about that. Um, I don't know. Maybe I told him I was going to beat his ass. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, I'm not sure about
Maybe,
that.
maybe I said, I'm going to show you how to respect that ECW championship.
Vinnie Mac. Maddie,
So,
another $5. Thanks, man. Also, One True Sport member, by the way. So if you want to sign up for One True Sport, go to OneTrueSportTV.com. Hit join below. Or check out the website too. We got some great merch. Okay, Maddie, he says, people always say to me, why don't you put your mom in a home? Because I know I look after her better. Neuro told me because of me, her life is better. Believe in yourself. So
Nice.
good stuff. Good for you, Maddie. That's
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
Yeah,
Man, I didn't even have a question. He just wanted to get that good energy out there for the
that's
Van
it.
Damme fan,
That's
for
it.
the Van Damme universe.
The Van Damme universe. Here, I want to read a
Yeah.
couple of his jokes here, Rob. He says, a boy is at a school dance. He has a wooden eye. He's a bit shy and no one is dancing with him. The teacher says, hey, look, a girl with a wooden leg. Maybe you could ask her for a dance. The boy asked the girl, would you like to dance? She said, oh, would I? And he said, oh, it's going to be like that. You can get the fuck, Stumpy. You can get fuck, Stumpy. Let's see. Oh, here's another good one. The other day, someone threw a baby at me, and I thought that's not very mature.
It's true.
I like it, Manny. Good shit. Here's the last one we'll do. What did Mario say when he broke up with the Princess Peach? It's not you, it's a me, Mario. I like that. Dude.
Right.
All right. Cool. Well, I like those, Maddie. That's good stuff. Rob, that's all I got on the list today. So, do you want to do like an RVDology, or how you feeling today?
No, let's wrap it up. Let's wrap it up. That'd be
Wrap it up.
better.
We'll wrap it up.
Yeah.
All right, guys. We want to thank some of our other sponsors here. We have Get Blitzed, where that's one of our favorites here at RVD TV and one of a kind. Get 15% off. Use code RVD. Go to get-blitz.com and you'll get 15% off. Lit Aid nano-infused THC syrup is 100% legal, and in all 50 states, it's Delta 9, guys. So check it out. I have the blue raspberry in my cupboard. I use a little bit of it, and it is very effective. I will say that much. So definitely enjoy that. Go to get-blitz.com. Use promo code RVD. Also want to thank Blue Chew. Try Blue Chew for free when you use promo code RVD. Go to bluechew.com and get your first shipping free. You just pay for shipping. It's only $5. So there you go. And thank you to Mayo. Thank you to Via. Well, I'll have all that information down below. We have a new sponsor coming up, too. I'll talk about it a little bit later. Named Manscaped. I think you're familiar with them, but I'll give you all that information later on. Rob, you don't have anything coming up? You're still in the clear for a little bit, aren't you? Or you got a little bit more?
Yeah. What's this? October, September? Nothing coming up this week. Check back with me next week. But everything I got right now is home-based, and I'm tired of telling you I'll have big news real soon, so I could have it next week or it could be December, because that's how the universe works sometime. And I'm RVD, and I go with the flow, yo. But not necessarily the other flow, yo. I go with Vera. The only people from my age are going to get that. But trying to think, Alice, Flo, or Vera?
Flo. Well, is Florence? Is that Florence Henderson from the
No. Kiss My Grits.
Oh,
You're too young, dude.
I'm too young.
So's everybody listening, probably. It was a TV show called Mel's Diner that we used to watch. Or was it called Alice? It was actually called Alice.
Oh, my God.
But
Rob.
It was made from a movie, and I think the movie the movie was called Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore. You don't have to know that. But it was a sitcom when I was a little kid. And they worked at a diner. Alice was the main character. It was Mel's Diner. Vera was the goofy one. And Mel would always call her Dingy. You dingy! Get it right, you dingy! Like total fucking like female abuse, like in front of the whole everybody all the time. Yeah. And then Flo would say, kiss my grits. And she's from the Yellow. Oh, there was a spinoff called Flo's Yellow Rose of Texas. Didn't last very long. Yep. Spinoffs.
Yeah.
Dude, I like spinoffs.
I do too. I like spinoff. Frasier was a spinoff from Cheers.
Off of Cheers.
Off of Cheers.
And was there another? Was that the one where Carla and her husband that was on Frasier? Or did they have they had their own too, I think. Carla and her husband, I think, had their own for a minute.
Did they really? I didn't know that.
Pretty sure, dude.
Ooh,
Pretty
I'll
sure,
have to look
yeah.
that up if that was another added spinoff. Damn.
Yes, 85% sure.
Well, Rob, no joke. Kevin Nash on his podcast this week, we talked about Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore. How about that?
What?
Yes.
The synchronicity. Kevin knows he's my age or
That's
so.
it. Yep. So,
What did he say about it?
so they were. He was talking about the
Goes
song.
slow?
He was talking about the song, the Arlo Guthrie song, and then Sean Oliver brought up Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore. So, how about that? Mm-hmm. Wow, craziness, just craziness.
Yeah.
I got to read freaking the prophecy thing or this. I had to bring it to Vegas and I forgot it, so now I got to read it here. That's on my agenda.
You know what else you should do? And everyone also watching, do yourself a favor and check out Genetic Roulette.
Genetic Roulette. That's right.
Yep.
All right.
It will blow your mind.
We got homework assignments, guys. Do it. Do it before next week, all right? And we'll see you next time here on One of a Kind with
Thanks,
RVD.
Thanks, Tom. See you
You're
next
welcome.
week.
See you next week, fellas.